I don't know about the M1.
I'll take this one.
Hello, I'm Eric Peterson. I was born December 19th, 1990 in Northville, Michigan. The 1990s, especially December, were a very turbulent time in not only our nation's history, but also the world. The Soviet Union was still around, but it was in its last stages of life. This led to a lot of political upheaval in Eastern Europe and the Middle East. Despite all of that turbulence, some things would repeat themselves as the years would go on. For music, the top of the charts was Because I Love You, the Postman song by Stevie B. Additionally, I'm Your Baby Tonight by Whitney Houston was also top of the charts. The top box office films were Home Alone, starring Macaulay Culkin, Kindergarten Cop, starring the future governor of California, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and The Godfather for Part 3, starring Andy Garcia. This was the last of the Godfather trilogy and was widely panned as the worst. So at the time, the Persian Gulf crisis was in its middle stages. Iraq had invaded Kuwait, but the U.S. had not intervened at that point. The U.S. was still trying to act as a third party and sort out the situation. President George H.W. Bush had repeatedly requested that Iraq come to the table and tried to mediate the situation. But as the U.S. was amassing forces in Saudi Arabia, this caused a lot of tension in the region, which, as you may guess, affected oil prices. Oil prices in New York City reached then $1.60. Additionally, we talked about the Soviet Union a little bit earlier. December of 1990 marked the first time that Germany had unified parliamentary elections. In the aftermath of the Cold War, or in the aftermath of World War II, Germany had been split into East and West Germany, with one being communist and one being democratic. In the late 1980s, the Berlin Wall had come down and Germany had been reunified, and December was the first time that they had joint elections. This was actually the first time they had had joint elections since 1933 when Hitler took power. In Poland, they elected their first democratically elected president, and his name was Lech Wałęsa. At the time, he had been a national hero of Poland. He founded the Solidarity movement, which organized the unions against the Soviets. His slogan was, "I don't want to, but I have to." I mentioned earlier that the President of the United States at the time was George H.W. Bush. He would lose re-election next year, but at the time he was still president. And the governor of Michigan was James Blanchard. At the time, however, he had just lost re-election to John Engler, a Republican. As far as pop culture, Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman celebrated their wedding. They would divorce in 2001. And for sports, the Lions went 6-10, and the Pistons, who had been back-to-back world champions going into the year, had lost 6 of 7 to start out December, proving that sometimes history does repeat itself. There were some pretty prominent deaths in December of 1990. George Allen died December 31st. He was a Hall of Fame pro football coach. And Douglas Campbell died December 16th. He was the first American to be an ace in World War I. For births, singer JoJo was born on December 20th. She was notable for the 2004 hit single, Leave. So in summation, December of 1990 was a very, very disruptive time for not only our country, but the world as a whole. The Soviet Union and its collapse was causing a lot of political upheaval, and states were trying to take advantage of this, such as Iraq during the Gulf War crisis, and the U.S. was emerging as the sole world power. Thank you for your time. 5 minutes?
Oh, you need 5 minutes?
Yeah. What was that?
4 minutes, 44 seconds.
There you go.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't want you to go over 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Yeah.